Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. I'm Sarah Jane, and this is Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls on Gift of Healing TV. And I am delighted to be welcomed by Janine Savient from New Zealand. So, yes, folks, it's UK morning. It is New Zealand evening. Janine, thank you so very much for joining us today.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you, Sarah, and just and have conversation and just be ourselves and share our knowing of life. So I'm very, very happy to be right here, right now with you.
Oh, thank you so much. And the conversation, this topic for this program is what is happening in our world and inside of us all. And I'm so pleased you've chosen this, sort of earlier this morning. Yes, it's quite early here this morning already. I was just sort of thinking, and I get this. I really do get this. And so, but Janine, let's start with you. What were your thoughts around this topic? Why did you feel you wished for us to share about this?
Well, I believe that right now there's no better topic to talk about than what is happening in the world and to everybody right now, because the power is now, and there is really only this now moment. So to talk about what is the hugest thing that's going on, and that is the world change. And, we're divided on so many things in life where our outlooks are different, our experiences are different, our thoughts and feelings are all different. We're all so unique. But the one thing that we can agree on is that our world is going through a huge change. And so I thought, well, let's have a conversation on it. Let's just bring it out between us and talk about what that change means to me, to you, and if there's any nuggets within that, any aha moments for others, then that's fabulous, because that's what it's all about. And so I will start with, for myself, and what I see within my clients that are coming to me is that there's a choice here with what's happening in this world. And the choice is to either view life through fear or to view it through love. So we can stay in our minds and we can keep our focus outside on the world and everything that's happening out there in the global narrative. And we can get into our fear, we can get into our doubt, or we can come inwards and we can remember and start to really go into that place within ourselves where the love is flowing, and we can view what's going on from the inner perspective, which is what this is all about at the moment. So in order for us to change, in order for us to step away from being mind-driven beings, which is something that we have been deliberately set up in for such a long time, our entire societies have taught us this, have fed the mind, have focused on the mind. So in order to let go how we know ourselves, something big has to happen so deeply that it takes us into a whole new area of ourselves. And I often say, when fear looks you right in the eyes, when you're backed into a corner and you have nowhere you can go because you're backed into the corner and fear is right there. And that's what's happening for a lot of people now with all the lockdowns, with the choices. There's big choices being made now. So the only place we can go is inward. So we turn inward, and in there we find the most beautiful pieces of ourselves. So why would we want to be out there? Why would we want to hold our focus out there where it's chaotic, when we can come in here and start to learn about the calm centeredness of ourselves? So we're not mind-driven beings, we're really body-heart awareness. That is the beings we are. And we have so much to learn about ourselves, or relearn or re-remember about ourselves now moving forward. And there's just so much that I could share on this topic that I'm discovering for myself, and through my clients and with my clients and that. So, but I better give you a moment to come in with your thoughts and feelings too, darling lady.
Yeah, no, because obviously sort of my mind was buzzing through that, and it was just like, no, I'm trying to listen. But yeah, there were the two things I really picked up on. Fear. Now, that to me is false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
And there is fear of things like fire, that you do not touch it. It is hot, and yes, it can be quite devastating. Do you jump off a high cliff? No, you don't. There is sensible fear, but the fear you are talking about is the fear of actually the doctrines almost that we are being fed, and everything that has gone on in our lives, and so many have not been brought up to love themselves. Actually it's selfish, it's mean, it's all those things. Also, when people like you and I turn around and say, love yourself, it's just like, oh, and the fear comes in from everything that has been said to us as a child. So it's the unlearning of so much, of unlearn everything to be open to that aspect feels totally right, and I can let go of the rest. And I'm trying to think what words you used, but change. I would change that word to growth, because an awful lot of people take that word change and they fear change. But when you think about growth, becoming who you are. And before we started, we were talking about the fact that my two sisters and myself had a conversation a few years ago, and we thought you could, if you'd listened to us, you'd have thought we were brought up in totally different families. But that's because we are individuals. How we see things, and my youngest sister is definitely wired differently. She has been done. I know she wouldn't have a problem because she's admitted it on programs before, with ADHD, with PTSD. So she's been diagnosed with things now that help her to understand how she is different, so she knows best how to deal with it, cope with it, and live with it. So we are all different, and we should be honoring that difference. And that's why I love having these conversations, because 2, 3, 4 people can all be coming from different perspectives, different life experiences. And I hope that the words that we use, because people are going to have different interpretations to our words. It's like that word change you were using. Some people can see that as being very positive, whereas other people will go into like a fear mode of change. And
yes.
that's the important thing is, what is your interpretation of what we are saying? Does what we're saying, does something give you food for thought? Does something resonate within you? And it is about, absolutely. For me, stepping outside your comfort zone is stepping back into yourself. It's not finding a step further, it's bringing you back into yourself. So the comfort zone is actually almost a place of fear to keep you controlled until it's so blooming uncomfortable that you've got to get out of it. And you start being true to yourself. But I think that what's been happening has been helping an awful lot of people to start realizing what are the important things in life. And they aren't things. They are people. And I'm
Absolutely.
going to stop there and hand back.
No, absolutely. You see, change comes on many different levels. So it can be the tiniest change, it can be the greatest life change. So there's very many levels of change. And if there's a fear of change, then there is an invitation in itself to look at, why does one fear change? Because change, if it comes from a heart space, if we feel from the heart what to do when change comes knocking at the door, then it will be exactly the right thing for us. And even though you used the words before, moving out of our comfort zone, yes, change pushes us out of our comfort zone. That's its main job. So yeah, if change comes knocking at the door and we know that things aren't going to be the same, we can distract from it, we can ignore it. Most human beings will do everything in their power to keep the status quo, to stay in the normal and where they feel secure, even if they're not happy in that secure place. Well, now, with what's going on in the world right now, we cannot stay in our secure place. We cannot stay in our comfort zone. And that is why change is here and why it must be embraced rather than feared. And those that are fearing it have a very different experience of this entire time. They have a very different perspective of what's going on. And normally that is keeping it outside of themselves, rather than coming into themselves and feeling what is going on for me right now when I see this, or when I am in a conversation with this one and they're saying very different to me. And so right now with change, we are learning the greatest lesson in discernment that we've ever been given the opportunity of understanding. We are realizing what we do and what we don't want in our lives. We are realizing that as we move deeper into ourselves, as we are presented with things that are uncomfortable on the outside, and we come into ourselves and sit with how we feel about that, and discern whether we want that as part of our life or not. There's the word, we're growing inwards, we're expanding outwards, we are becoming beings that we didn't actually, that we'd heard about, that we'd maybe read about, that we've had conversations about. Now we're actually starting to experience this in ourselves. This is the truth of us, darling lady. This is who we are. This is who we've always been, the most magnificent beings of light energy, pure love, part of the divine. And we've been deliberately steered away from that, deliberately veiled from that. And so now we're actually coming back into the truth of ourselves. So change in that perspective is an incredible thing. What's happening right now is actually an incredible thing, an amazing thing, because it's bringing us back into the truth of ourselves. And with that truth, we rise. Our vibration rises. Our vibration grows and expands out, and we touch others. So we start recognizing others who are also on that same journey of mind, body, or body heart awareness. So moving away from their mind and realizing the mind is a powerful creative tool, but that is part of the human experience. The soul experience is the heart and body. So the body is the receptor in this reality. It is our anchor here. It is what reads the field as pure vibration, and the heart is the is the portal through the dimensions and realms that exist within us, that we can move through and into. And so we are just coming into drip by drip by drip. We are, because if we took it on too much, if we had far too much at once, it would just blow us away. So drip by drip, we're having more and more aha moments, and we're having more and more experiences that are showing us parts and pieces of ourselves that it's like, oh my gosh, is this for real? Is this me? Am I feeling this? Look at the beauty that I'm witnessing. And if we understand that what we see on the outside of us and how that makes us feel is actually a reflection of us, when we see beauty as magnificent as coming into this world now, so there's just moments now of exquisiteness, then we're seeing ourselves and where we're starting to shine from and where our presence is growing in this reality. So there is so much to look forward to, so much right now and looking forward to with this new emerging world that's happening right now, and we're birthing it through us. We're the creators of it. It's coming through us right now. So it's not something that we're not a part of, because we're here for that. We're actually here to create the new world. So you and me were talking earlier before we came on air about the word old, and old and ancient, and you could say, that those on the leading edge of this change here that are the awakened or the awakening are the old souls, are the ancient ones that have come here deliberately for this time to hold the space of love for this beautiful world to come into form through. And yes, we're seeing the dark play out. We're seeing all the control that we've always lived through for so long. It was just a part of life, and now we're seeing it break down. But of course, in the breaking down of it, it's being exposed, and our vibration is rising. So we are seeing more. We are seeing what is true and what isn't true, and observing it all. And so, to look at it from that direction, from that perspective, it is all good. It is all exciting, and and that is a choice which perspective we want to look at it from. So we can get caught up in the outside, or we can get all caught up on the inside of us, which is the beautiful place to get caught up in.
And the inside of us is not just important, it is essential. But there is, I think, an aspect that it is for us to participate on the outside. And that is for each and every one of us to take responsibility for our own actions.
Yes, absolutely.
It is people that have the power. It is no longer for us to look to our governments and our leaders for the changes we require in the world.
No.
It is for each and every one of us to take that responsibility, because the changes will, and yes, I've gone back to that word changes, yes, the changes we require in this world are not going to come from our governments and our leaders, who, as it goes through my head, is, excuse me, they are paid by us, therefore they work for us. They are not our dictators. We have allowed them to become our dictators and our rulers, and they aren't. We are the ones that are in charge of our own lives, and we have choices. And this word sovereignty that has been going around relatively recently, it is for us to say yes and no. It is for us to say, I wish there to be change, therefore I am actually going to be part of that change. I'm going to be part of that change in the actions that I take, in the things that I do, if I do not like what is going on with things like palm oil and goodness knows what else is going on, but there are so many things, then I refuse to buy the products with it in. If there is a company that is doing something I do not like, stop buying from them or their products. Don't keep supporting them, because while you keep supporting them, you are not supporting yourself, the people of this planet, and our beautiful planet. So much changed for the planet herself in our year of lockdown. Because our skies were not being polluted, the ozone layer started to heal itself. The animals, the woodlands, seriously, just looking at our own garden, because we have got a wildlife-friendly garden. Last summer, we had 2 young foxes that would come and go to sleep on the lawn in the sunshine. Look at the world around you. Every single one of us is responsible for the actions that we take. I've supported WWF for quite a number of years, and they've been doing a thing, emails, do this to help the planet. And I've signed up for those each time they come through, and every time they send through the little lists of things that we can do, and I'm thinking, I've been doing that for years. I've been doing that for years. I've been doing that for years. Because for me, we live on the most beautiful planet. But she can only continue to support us, providing we stop destroying her. Every tree we fell unnecessarily, and there's an awful lot that is actually unnecessary. Every animal that we kill, every harm that we do, we are doing to ourselves. So it is our responsibility to be true to the love, to the caring of ourselves, everybody else, and to our beautiful planet. We are not responsible for other people's actions, but we are responsible for our own, and we are responsible for speaking up and not being afraid of saying, I don't agree with you. But it is also important that we accept when other people turn around and say that they don't agree with us. We can't have it one way and not the other. Don't get into an argument. Everybody is entitled to their own beliefs. But hopefully the conversations we have, the more they get out there, the more of us that speak in our own unique ways of caring and loving can touch more and more lives and help people to start thinking, is this belief that I have true? What is really true? Are the doctrines I've been listening to and believing the real truth? So I do think it is about responsibility to ourselves, first and foremost. And when we are responsible for ourselves, and each and every one of us becomes responsible from love, we will change everything. But it is going to come from us, the people, from you and I. It is not going to come from our governments. Because with everything that's been going on with COVID, I do wonder how much our governments have not also been puppets in this whole process, that they are being told what someone somewhere wishes them to hear, and they are acting on that. Who is the puppeteer? And I haven't been prepared to be a puppet for a long time. People, are you prepared to continue to be puppets? And I'm fairly certain that the majority of your reactions will be, a puppet? I'm not a puppet. Unfortunately, too many of us have been and still are. Come from the love in your heart. Listen to your heart. Don't be afraid to feel. And I get it. It's difficult for people at times to go into those feelings. Trust yourself.
Absolutely. You know, the thing is that the greatest thing right now would be learning to trust in ourselves, because over many, many lifetimes, we placed our trust outside of ourselves and to our own detriment more often than not. So we killed trust because, we have pushed it way, way, way down because we can't trust and trust. So now we are starting to learn trust in ourselves again. And it's not about putting it outside of ourselves anymore. It's about trusting in ourselves with our discernment. And through learning discernment, we grow our trust. And through realizing that our deepest innate truth is found within our heart, because there is no doubt and there is no fear in our heart. That's all mind-based. So truth sits within our heart, and through truth we grow trust, and through trusting more we experience deeper truth. And so the new world is a world of transparency and truth and trust and every other ingredient that comes under the umbrella of pure love. We cannot play our part in the new world until we find all that within ourselves. And through finding all that in ourselves, we actually grow into the new world. So on another level, it's already fully here. It's already fully formed. And we need to rise to the vibration of where it sits so that we can see it more and more and become a part of it more and more. That happens by facing ourselves and by giving ourselves permission to look at the parts of us that are stopping us from feeling our truth, from feeling our trust, from trusting in our discernment. So all those aspects of us that have come about over many lifetimes where all we've done is survive. We haven't really lived a beautiful life. We have lived a life of survival. And so we've needed all these aspects of us that, like our grr, I call it, all our grr, our even our jealousies and our criticisms and our judgments and our angers and all those parts of us have been necessary in the lives leading up to this now moment, because they helped us survive. In fact, in some instances, they were the only reason we survived at times. But we don't need those beautiful aspects of us now. And I say they're beautiful because every aspect of us as whole souls are beautiful, every aspect. But some of them are less than the shining facets of the diamonds that we are than other aspects, and the aspects that we really want to embrace, those beautiful ones. So it's now about facing the aspects of ourselves that have kept us surviving through the lifetimes, and embracing those aspects back into the heart of us. So we never release ourselves from them. They're a part of us, but we don't need those aspects moving forward into the new world. They don't vibrate at the height that the new world comes to us on, was opening to us on. So to face our fears, to face our doubts, and face our criticisms, our self-criticisms, our self-judgments, that inner dialogue that keeps us small and unseen, to face all those pieces of us and gently, one by one, fold them back into our heart of love. Just love them back into us. Tell these aspects that we see them. And we have the deepest gratitude for the roles they've played as parts of us over so many lifetimes. But now we make them retired and we fold them back into the heart of us so that we feel them merging into that beautiful, beautiful place within us. And we rise. We feel over the next few days, few weeks of doing that, we rise. We've altered slightly. Our perception of ourself and life is altered. And so we're coming up in vibration, and then we see a little more of the light that's coming through the cracks of the dissolving old world. We see that growing light that's finding every crack in the armor of the old world it can find. And so it presents as beauty. It presents as abundance. It presents as connection. It presents out in nature. We get pulled to new things. We get new possibilities and opportunities arrive for us. New doorways open. Life starts to become different. And that is what life is all about now. But we have a lot to thank the dark, the ones with the agenda. Really, it's all just a big play, and every single person is a player in that play, is an actor or an actress, and we've all got our roles, so without those ones that are in the roles of the dark, and our governments and all the leaders around the world, and that we wouldn't have this opportunity to make these great steps within ourselves. There'd be no outside force pushing us to go inward, and pushing to such an extent that, because some people are quite stubborn, I can tell you, you probably know that, darling lady, some people really dug their heels in and they aren't going there. They're going to stay how they've always been. And so things get darker and darker and heavier and more abrasive in the world around us, until every last one that has come here to awaken and be part of the new world, because some haven't, some will leave, so have woken up. And this is why it seems to be going from level to level with what's happening around the world and how it is for each country now. This is all actually for us to awaken so that we can create the new world. So the old is falling down, and from the ashes of the old, of course, the phoenix rises, the beautiful new is rising, and it's actually happening right now. It's not like we've got to dissolve one before the other rises. They're both happening at exactly the same time, and the more we connect inside ourselves, and the more we understand who and what we are, and we remember the extraordinary in us, the magnificence in us, the power of us when we stand in our truth, the power of ourself when we say no if we feel it's not right for us, or like you were saying earlier, or we say yes because it is right for us. So we stand in our sovereignty, because every single one of us on this planet is a sovereign being. So we remember that again, and we stand in our sovereignty, and we don't allow ourselves to be controlled anymore. So then we feel the power of ourselves, and then we rise in vibration, and see every piece that we're connecting to in ourselves now, every part of us that's becoming obvious to us from the beauty that's growing inside us, is taking us into the new world, or is birthing the new world in us. It's all exactly the same thing. And so this is the time that we're in now, and it makes my heart sing with the greatest joy when I'm with somebody and I see that they're going to a new level of themselves, that they're opening up into an expanded knowing of themselves. And it's like, yes, here's another one. Here's another one that's come to link arms on the leading edge, and we're a growing number. You know, we're a force for absolute good, and we're the light that's growing brighter and brighter, and the love that's flowing deeper and deeper. And that's why we're here. And there's nothing that can stop this beautiful wave. Absolutely nothing that can stop us moving forward and coming into the light of our truth and the light of ourselves. This whole thing is already planned. It's already destined to be where we all know it's going. And there's no stopping it now. So, in fact, I would say to you right now, the light is already won. It's already won. And really right now, we're in the cleanup mode. So we're just simply cleaning up all the straggly ends and ticking the check boxes and doing all the bits that you do before you shut the door and go on holiday. So, yeah. Goodness knows where that bit came from.
Oh, trust it. It's like, where did the thing puppets come from? Why was that suddenly in my head? And it was just like, okay, fine. I am just trusting this. And I really do think that we have shared a lot here. An awful lot for, I know this is going to sound straight, but people to get their heads around, to allow the connection to their heart. Because it is that, yes, it is you talk about our heart body, but it is also about the encouragement of head working with heart.
It's got to be in alignment.
Yeah, I'm so in agreement. And one of the things I'm very grateful for is the fact that, and I'm just trying to think of the wording I use on a daily basis. And I can't, it's gone. But there is something I say on a daily basis. I'm very grateful for a mind and an ego that works with my heart.
Beautiful.
That works with my heart.
Yeah.
It is they are not meant to be separate, because the power, yes, our mind is very powerful. So therefore, if it is coming with the extra energy and power of our heart, think about what we can do. Think about all we can achieve for ourselves. And I'm not talking about money and jobs. I am talking about a life of living, experiencing,
creating.
And yeah, absolutely. And life has become about getting up, eating your breakfast, going to work, coming home again, getting the supper and going to bed. That is not living, that is existing.
Yeah.
How can we adjust our lives to have more living? And I spent so many years on existing. And when I woke up and thought, absolutely, this is existing, I'm now going to live. And it's been about experiencing. And I've gone out and I have had experiences, like working with the wolves at the UK Wolf Conservation Trust, getting up close and personal, flying a helicopter, doing a wing walk, doing a zip wire, doing this, doing that, doing the other. There are things, it's just like, I am going to start being within a doing, in an experience. And whether it's an experience I'd ever choose to have again is totally my choice. But, and would I ever do a bungee jump? No. I have abseiled, though. So, but think about it. Let's have some fun in life. This is not meant to be about serious. This is meant to be about fun and joy and laughter and loving. For you, your family, your friends, and everyone around you. So, and I have that, right, okay, I hadn't planned on going into all of that. But I think we've shared a lot here. And I know that for some people, it may take several listenings to sort of, to get it all. And others of you may be listening to parts of this and thinking, yes, 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 yes. I still say it's our responsibility to step into that. So before we finish, Janine, have you got anything finally that you would like to add? Because I know this has gone on slightly longer than I usually expect, but hey ho, I'm not worried.
What I'd just like to say in finishing is I would just like people to hear this so that they can feel it deeply in their heart. We are joy-seeking beings. That is our natural state of being. We're seekers of joy. We're beings of love. We are light energy. So anything that's going to bring us joy in our life brings us into our natural state. That is where we vibrate naturally at. Joy is the highest vibration, even above love. And so we are joy-seeking beings, and we seek it because that is where we are really, truly, deeply most comfortable being. Imagine what we could create for ourselves, our lives, and our world for each other if we all vibrated at our natural state of being, at joy. We would have the world that's actually being birthed through us now. We just have to release the parts that are being made redundant now, and that's why our world is topsy-turvy, being tipped inside out right now, because all the parts that aren't necessary in the new world are leaving. They're dissolving and resolving and being released from this reality. So I would say to everybody, just hang in there, everybody. Don't get yourself down and heavy, because this is working out in accordance with the divine plan. It's all going perfectly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And allow your inner child out to play.
To play.
He and she, they knew how to love, to laugh, to experience and have fun.
Yeah.
Allow that aspect back into your life.
Beautiful.
Janine, thank you so very much. It has been an absolute pleasure. Next week, I am going to be doing another Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls. And I think actually this follows on almost brilliantly from this, because I'm going to be just sharing my thoughts on intuition, inspiration, and soul wisdom. Perfect. I hope that you will join me for that. And that will be back at 7:30 p.m. UK time. Thank you, Janine. Sweet soul. Thank you, all of you, for listening. Accept the fact that you are a sweet, loving soul. And we will be with you again. Take care. Namaste.
Namaste.